All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Election Commission reviews preparation of upcoming Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections, directs officials to enhance surveillance on possible interstate movement of the free goodies to induce voters. Prime Minister interacts with CEOs of world's top food processing companies as part of World Food India 2017, says government's initiatives are opening up several opportunities for all stakeholders. Mr. Narendra Modi holds separate talks with visiting Armenian President and Latvian Prime Minister to cement India's bilateral ties. No tax on cash sales of agricultural produce for less than 2 lakh rupees, says IT Department. Syria and Iraq take control of Islamic State terror groups' 2 strongholds in their countries. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated today. And in women's boxing, Sonia Lather and Neeraj enter Asian Championships quarterfinals in Vietnam. The Election Commission reviewed the preparation of conduct of forthcoming Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections through video conferencing yesterday. The polling for the 68-member State Assembly will be held next week on Thursday in a single phase. Chief Secretaries, DGPs, Chief Electoral Officers and other officials from Himachal Pradesh and neighbouring states of Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab and Haryana attended the meeting. Here's more from our correspondent.
The Election Commission directed officials to enhance surveillance on possible interstate movement of free goodies intended for distribution to induce electors. It asked to implement sealing of interstate border on poll day to prevent any undue influence on polling from outside. The Commission directed Chief Secretaries of the neighbouring states to declare paid holidays on 9th November and 18th December for those electors of Himachal Pradesh who work in adjoining areas of the neighbouring states. With Anand Kumar, Sheila, AI News, Delhi.
Meanwhile, campaigning has reached a feverish pitch for the polls. Senior leaders of various political parties are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address election rallies in Kangra and Mandi districts today, while Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh is visiting Shimla district, where he will hold public meetings in various constituencies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with CEOs of top companies engaged in food processing and related sectors across the world in New Delhi yesterday. The interaction was part of the World Food India 2017, which was inaugurated by Mr. Modi earlier in the day. Mr. Modi said rising middle class and the policy-driven initiatives of the government are opening up several opportunities for all stakeholders in the food processing sector. He underlined his government's resolve to reduce the input costs for farmers and eliminate losses due to wastage of farm produce. The CEOs stressed that the food processing sector is vital for raising farm productivity, food and nutrition security, creating jobs and adding value to agricultural produce. They reaffirmed their commitment to be a part of India's growth story. Earlier, speaking at the World Food India event, Mr. Modi assured the government's wholehearted support to foreign investors. He said starting businesses in India is easier now as procedures have been simplified.
India is also rapidly progressing on the Global Innovation Index, Global Logistics Index and Global Competitiveness Index. Starting a new business in India is now easier than ever before. Procedures for obtaining clearances from various agencies have been simplified.
The Prime Minister held separate talks with Armenian President Serge Sargsyan and Latvian Prime Minister Maris Kučinskis in New Delhi yesterday to cement India's bilateral ties with the two countries. Both the visiting dignitaries had attended the inaugural session of the World Food India event. During the meeting with the Latvian Prime Minister, the protocol amending and supplementing the agreement between India and Latvia relating to air services was signed. Mr. Modi and Mr. Kučinskis focused their discussions on building closer cooperation in the areas of trade and investment, food processing and culture, among others. With the Armenian President, Mr. Modi discussed ways to further strengthen future cooperation in diverse areas including political, defence, space, trade and investment, and science and technology. Both the visiting dignitaries also met President Ramnath Kovind separately at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The Income Tax Department has clarified that the cash sales of agricultural produce by a cultivator to a trader for less than 2 lakh rupees will not attract tax under the Income Tax Act. A circular issued by the department said the cultivator and the trader will also not have to provide their permanent account number, PAN, or furnish Form 60. The clarification came following representations from stakeholders about applicability of income tax provision to cash sale of farm produce by farmers to traders. The centre has given a 6-month extension to the Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal, CWDT, to submit its report on the dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The report was to be submitted by Thursday, which has now been extended till May next year. An official order said the tribunal had sought more time for submitting the report. In February 2007, the tribunal had asked Karnataka to release 192,000 million cubic feet water to lower riparian Tamil Nadu every year from June to January. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Syria and Iraq have taken control of Islamic State terror groups' 2 strongholds in their countries. Syria's army announced yesterday that it has taken Deir al-Zur. Later in the day, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi said Al-Qaim across the border had been recaptured by the government forces. Iraqi forces said they've also seized the last border post between Iraq and Syria that was held by the terror group. Last month, a US-backed Syrian alliance took control of Raqqa in Syria, the former capital of Islamic State's self-styled caliphate. In July, Mosul, Iraq's second-largest city, was taken from IS after months of fighting. Back home, the Urban Mobility India Conference begins in Hyderabad today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will inaugurate the 3-day conference and expo. Our correspondent reports that around 1,000 policymakers from India and 25 other countries will discuss public transport-related issues during the 3-day conference.
Increasing the urban population is posing newer challenges to the policymakers around the world. Urban transportation and mobility is one such challenge, especially in the wake of urban population likely to touch 50% by 2050. Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry, in coordination with Telangana State Government and the Cooperation for Urban Mobility in the Developing World, CODA2, is organizing the 3-day conference in Hyderabad for the second time outside Delhi. The experiences relating to urban transportation of 86 cities will be discussed during the conference. Case studies of cities like Bangkok, Santiago will also be discussed. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
Rain continues to lash different parts of Tamil Nadu, including Chennai, though the intensity has reduced in the last 24 hours. As the low-pressure area formed 3 days back in Southwest Bay and Sri Lankan coasts, scattered rain is set to continue for the next 24 hours in coastal Tamil Nadu and Puducherry and adjoining areas of coastal Andhra Pradesh. So far, 12 people are said to have lost their lives in rain-related incidents. Chief Minister E.K. Palaniswamy inspected the most affected places in North Chennai and the city's suburbs in the Kanchipuram district yesterday. He said relief measures are being carried out on a war footing. Our correspondent has more.
About 200 lakes in Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram districts have reached their full capacity and hundreds more have touched more than 80% level. Both the districts account for nearly 2,500 lakes under the state PWD control. Fishermen in many places in Chennai and Nagapattinam stayed away from fishing due to rough weather. Tourists were not allowed to visit the famous Mahabalipuram beach near Chennai due to inclement weather. Strangely, the iconic Marina beach in the city is also inundated by flood water as it is not percolating down the sandy soil. Schools in 4 districts of Chennai, Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur remain closed for the 5th day today. In Tiruvarur also, schools have been given leave for the day due to rain. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Monetary action of banning old 500 and 1000 rupee notes has withdrawn nearly 86% of the currency in circulation. According to a preliminary report of the Central Board of Direct Taxes, post-demonetization, the department has a good database about individuals who have big wealth but are not paying taxes. Our Bengaluru correspondent sends this report about the social impact of demonetization.
Demonetization has provided the invaluable service of creating mass awareness against black money. It has promoted digitization of transactions and digital payments. The Director General of Income Tax of Karnataka and Goa region, Mr. B.R. Balakrishnan, gives us an insight into the impact of demonetization.
It signals a government which is capable of taking hard decisions, which is committed to the long-term welfare of the country. Common people of the country have accepted the decision. Many cities in real estate things, the cash component was 30, 40, 50%. That has gone down heavily and it will make real estate affordable to lower and middle class people.
Mr. Balakrishnan has said that huge database of various large amount of cash which has gone into various bank accounts will be worked upon by the Income Tax Department that will follow the money trail. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Guru Nanak Jayanti or Guru Purab is being celebrated across the country today. The day marks the birth of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev. It is considered as the most sacred day in Sikhism. This year marks the 548th birthday of Guru Nanak Dev. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion. In women's boxing, World Championship silver medalists Sonia Lather and debutant Neeraj have entered the quarterfinals of the Asian Championships being held at Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Sonia, a former silver medalist at the event in the 57 kg category, made it to the last 8 after she defeated Japan's Kurogi Kana in her opening round bout yesterday. Neeraj progressed to the quarterfinals in the 51 kg division, beating Myanmar's Nali Nali. However, in the 81 kg section, Asian Games bronze medalist Pooja Rani made a first-round exit. The quarter-final bouts will be played today. And now for a look at today's newspapers. It's over to Paul Thornton.
Thank you, Tanvi. The Supreme Court asking banks and telecom companies to appraise their customers at the last date of linking their accounts and mobile numbers with Aadhaar gets front-page attention in most dailies. Don't create panic on Aadhaar linking SC to banks, telcos. Headlines The Times of India. The Asian Age writes, no SC stay on Aadhaar link to bank account mobile. Publicized deadline, court tells firms at the paper. Another Supreme Court ruling that technical education could not be provided through correspondent courses gets major attention in the newspapers. No tech degrees via distance courses, rules SC. Headlines at Tribune. The Pioneer writes, SC ruling leaves engineers in a fix, while the Times of India's top headline reads, engineering degree secured since 2001 via correspondence invalid, says SA. Spotlighting the first day of the World Food India event, the Pioneer writes, $1 billion boost to food agriculture. The paper adds, ITC, PepsiCo and Hershey announce huge investment plans. A top headline in the Hindu reads, no action against note ban petitioners, but immunity will cover only the amounts mentioned in their pleas, says the centre. Reporting on the blast at NTPC's Unchahar power plant, the Indian Express writes, NTPC toll up to 32, barring 3, all were contract staff working near boiler. Several papers have also reported on former TMC leader Mukul Roy joining the BJP. Mamata ex-aide Mukul in BJP falls, says Bengal wants change. Headlines The Tribune. Congress managing to get the support of young Dalit leader Jignesh Memnani ahead of the Gujarat Assembly elections is also widely covered. The Tribune observes, Dalit leader on board, Congress inches towards Grand Alliance. Highlighting the significant push for digital transactions, the Times of India writes, e-payments in 2017-18 may touch 1,800 crore rupees. And finally, the Times of India, quoting a study, writes, slowing down from the daily rat race and observing nature boosts personal well-being. Well, another reason to stop and smell the roses. And with that, it's back to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Paul. And now before we close, the headlines once again. Election Commission reviews preparation of upcoming Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections, directs officials to enhance surveillance on possible interstate movement of free goodies to induced voters. Prime Minister interacts with CEOs of world's top food processing companies as part of World Food India 2017, says government's initiatives are opening up several opportunities for all stakeholders. Mr. Narendra Modi holds separate talks with visiting Armenian President and Latvian Prime Minister to cement India's bilateral ties. No tax on cash sales of agricultural produce for less than 2 lakh rupees, says IT Department. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated today. And in women's boxing, Sonia Lather and Neeraj enter Asian Championships quarterfinals in Vietnam. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.